All right, guys, listen up. If you want to sleep like a gangster, go visit my friends at bearmattress.com/Chael. Use my code Chael. That's going to get you 40% off. That's not what they're offering the general public, guys. That is just for you. Bear Mattress is a premium fiberglass-free mattress shipped right to your door. You don't need a pickup truck. You don't need 3 buddies. You just open the box, let it inflate, and boom, you've now upgraded your life. And here's the best part. Bear has now got a sleep quiz that'll match you with the perfect mattress. Me, I run a little hot. I like support, and Bear nailed it. It matched me with the Star Hybrid based on how I sleep. I've been sleeping on this thing for 2 months, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, it is the best I have felt getting out of bed in years. I stay cool. I'm not tossing around like a frog in a sock. And the whole thing is clean, safe, and fiberglass free. Bear's surveys show that people sleep better, recover faster, and feel better. And I believe it. You get free shipping, a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and financing options if you want them. Look, I love my Bear mattress. And you will too. Upgrade your sleep right now at bearmattress.com/Chael. Remember, code Chael gets you 40% off. Guys, do it today, because remember, champions don't procrastinate. Merab is Fighter of the Year. This is official. MMA Junkies 2025 Male Fighter of the Year goes to Merab Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili. That's not right. DVAL, capital DVAL. Dvalishvili. Merab Dvalishvili. That's not right. Merab Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili? Have I been saying it wrong all this time? Merab Dvalishvili. That's not right. Merab Dvalishvili. Anyway, I think they misspelled it. Merab is Fighter of the Year. And good job, MMA Junkie. Good job. One thing about our sport. Now, I heard a very prominent boxing promoter explain, and this was in private, so that's why I got to leave his name out. But he said that, and this was many years ago, it was over a decade ago, but he said the one thing that Dana White has been able to do that we can't, the thing that Dana has done, we wish that he knew how we wish we knew how we did this. We can't believe that he was able to do this. The one thing, and the guy was putting gushing, heaping amounts of praise on Dana White. And this is a guy who publicly goes out and takes Dana on. Privately, he said, he's made losing acceptable. He said the UFC is the only place you can be 4-3 and still be a main event. You can be 4-4 and sell out an arena. You could have lost 3 of your last 10, fight for a world title, and win it. And they said, we can't do that. We'll get a stud. If he got 2 losses, even if they're the bigger studs, he's done. If he gets 4 losses, he's a bum. If he gets 9 losses, oh my God. How did he even get enough fights to get himself 9 losses, right? I mean, he would be out of the business. But it's not like that in MMA, and this boxing promoter was making that point. It's a very obvious point, but it's like a number of obvious things. I needed somebody else to say it. I needed to hear it and go, oh, yeah. And I bring that to you because it is true in our industry, and we do deal with losses better than any other sport. Or at least we deal with them like other sports. We understand that the Patriots can lose the second game of the season, and we understand that they can still come back and be Super Bowl champions. We understand that the Lakers could lose 2 times in a week, and in that same week, be the champion. But for some reason, it's accepted over there, right? The Lakers can lose on Thursday, and on Sunday, win the championship. The very room in the very house doing the very game against the very same team that they were hanging their heads on a Thursday night can have confetti coming from the rafters on a Sunday as they pump their fists in celebration as world champions. It's an incredible thing. I find that really to be an incredible thing because I find that to be a very normal thing. And in the sport of combat, we don't see it. And that's why I love that MMA Junkie did this with Merab. I had 2 years ago Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira had lost to Israel Adesanya. He got knocked out and people dismissed me. I was on the couch. I was making the argument. And I said, yeah, but within this calendar year, Pereira has been an 85-pound world champion and a 205-pound champion. In the same calendar year, he held belts, the highest belt, in 2 different divisions. Nobody else has done that, and therefore, he is the fighter of the year. And I could not get over with that argument, which, as I say to this day, I still think is very strong. But perhaps that argument would work today. Because Merab got defeated, but they were able to look at it and say, well, you accomplished more than other people. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a champion, everybody is supposed to fight 3 times a year. So if Merab fought successfully 3 times in a year, I would think that people are tied for what he's done, but I could have that wrong. And a number of people will then categorize it and say, well, but these are world title fights, and therefore their extra rounds are harder, there's more pressure, and they'll give a credit and esteem to that. I'm not against it. I think that's a fair argument. 3-1. Fighter of the year. More rounds, more walks, more weigh-ins, or at least tied, than anybody. Merab did 4 walks, all for world titles, got 3 of them right, got 1 of them wrong. Joshua Van did 4 walks, 1 for a world title, got them all right. Think about that. Joshua Van did 4 walks. Merab did 4 walks. Merab's were all for world titles. Joshua Van's, 1 of them was for a world title. 3 were not. Merab got 3 of them right, 1 wrong. Joshua Van got all of them right. The year ends. Merab is no longer world champion. Joshua Van is world champion. You tell me who had a better year. Now, I like the idea of Merab. And I don't think that getting beat would disqualify you from being the fighter of the year. I'm just asking you, where is the distinction coming? Are we putting the distinction fully on the idea that Merab's fights were title fights? Is that how we're supposed to do that? Because that sounds a lot like the argument that I made for Alex Pereira that got dismissed. I'm just asking you. It's just food for thought. Merab is fighter of the year. I recognize that. I have him in my top 3. I'm glad that Junkie did this. This is a good thing, but can ya? I mean, people were so impressed that Merab made that walk 4 times. So did Van. Well, yeah, but Merab's were world title fights. Well, so was Van's. Well, all of Merab's were world title fights. Okay. That is different than Van's. But one's finished in the year the champion and one is not. Reconcile that for me.